This is Algebra 1, Unit 4, Lesson 2, Point-Slope Form. So we've been talking slope-intercept form, slope-intercept form, slope-intercept form, but there's other forms of writing equations out there that we haven't talked about yet. So the first one we're going to talk about is called the point-slope form. And this is the equation for point-slope form. I know it looks a little intimidating, but it's super easy. And where did the formula come from? We know this. Well, that's the formula to calculate the slope of a line. If you make that into a proportion, we're just going to put m over 1, and a proportion is just two ratios with an equal sign between them, and we're just going to cross multiply. So we have 1 times y sub 2 minus y sub 1 equals, and we're going to cross multiply this way, m times the quantity x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And then we're going to say, hey, we only have 1 point, so we're going to get rid of the second point, the y sub 2 and the x sub 2. So we're going to consider those our variables. We're just going to leave them as y. So we're going to say y minus y sub 1 equals m times, and we're going to get rid of this x sub 2. We're just going to consider that x minus x sub 1. And there you have it. That's called the point-slope form. Super easy. So again, the one without the sub 1, the x and y, that's going to be our variables. That's going to represent all the points on the line. The one with the sub 1, x sub 1, y sub 1, that's going to represent just the one given point. And then we all know that the m is the slope of our line. So here we go again. Super easy. So the formula again is y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. And here's our x sub 1, y sub 1, and here's our m. So we're going to substitute it into that formula. We're going to leave y as y. In place of y sub 1, I'm going to put a negative 3 equals m, which we're given as negative 1, times the quantity x, and then our x sub 1 is right here. That's 4 minus 4. And then all you need to do is clean it up. You don't have to do much. I'm going to get rid of this minus minus. You know, we don't like that so much. So I'm going to make that y plus 3 equals negative 1 times x minus 4. Don't be tempted to distribute that negative 1, because then it wouldn't be in slope or point slope form anymore. So we're just going to leave it just like that, and we're going to consider it done. Let's try another one like that, and then we're going to make it a little bit more difficult. Here we go. This time our point is, oops, let's change colors, make it more interesting. This time our point is negative 5, negative 1. Our slope is 1/5. And here's that point slope formula again. We're going to leave y as y, that's our variable, minus our y sub 1, which is negative 1. We're going to clean that up later, equals m, which is 1/5, times the quantity x. And we're going to leave that as a variable, and then x sub 1 we're going to replace with negative 5. And then we just have to clean it up a little bit. We're going to get rid of that minus minus. We're going to make that plus 1 equals 1/5 x. We're going to get rid of this minus minus again. We're going to make that plus 5, and we are done. You can certainly easily switch that to slope-intercept form, but that's not the point of the lesson. So we're just going to leave it just like that. All right, let's bump up the level a little bit. Now, instead of giving us the slope, they're going to make us calculate the slope. That's no problem for us. So we're given the 2 points. We know how to find the slope. The slope we know is y minus y over x minus x. Doesn't matter where you start. Oh, they're telling us, let's consider this point 1, negative 2 as our x sub 2, y sub 2. We know it doesn't really matter, but in this case, we'll just follow the example. So I'm going to say that we have negative 2 minus our other y, which is 4, all over 1 minus a negative 1. And so on the top, we have a negative 6. On the bottom, we'll make that plus positive. It looks like 2. So it looks like our slope is going to be negative 3. All right. Now, you get to choose which point you want to use in the formula. In this example, they told us, hey, I'd like you to use negative 1, 4. But it shouldn't matter. You'll end up with an equation for the same line. So here we go again. The formula again is y minus y sub 1 equals m times the quantity x minus x sub 1. We're going to leave y as y. Let me change colors just so you can see a little bit better. We're going to leave y as y. We're going to replace the y sub 1 with 4 equals m, which we found to be -3, times the quantity x, and then minus x sub 1, which is minus a -1. You know, we don't like to leave it that way. So we're going to say y minus 4 equals -3 times the quantity x plus 1. And we are done. Piece of cake. Let's do one more like that, and we'll let you try some on your own. Let's go purple. Here we go. First thing we need to do is calculate our slope. They're calling this 0.1, this one 0.2. That's fine. When you do it on Schoology, you can do any point you want. So we're going to say 3 minus a -3 for our slope, all over -4 minus 5. Make that plus positive. We get a 6 on the top. We get a -9 on the bottom. Let's reduce that. 3 goes into 6 2 times. 3 goes into -9, -3 times. So our slope's going to be a -2/3. Now, they told us to use this point as our first point, our x sub 1, y sub 1, so that's fine. So we're going to say y minus y, which in this case is a -3, equals m, which we calculated to be -2/3, times the quantity x minus, and then our x sub 1, which is 5, they're asking us to use. Let's clean it up a little bit. Let's make that y plus 3 equals -2/3 times the quantity x minus 5. And boom, we're done. Please go to Schoology, try the practice problems. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.